weird way to kind of intro the Daily Dose is to say that I am not a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. So why, Brian, are you wearing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers shirt? That should be the next thought out of your head. Then why the shirt, Brian? Why the shirt? Those that know me know I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. But I had a really fascinating experience a few years ago. I got an opportunity to be part of the flyover for a Tampa Bay Buccaneers football game, and it was phenomenal, man. We did the flyover, we landed, we got out, we got limo rides over to the stadium, we had field passes. It was incredible. We got to be on camera waving, hey everybody, you know, and it was just really cool. It was really neat. But one of the things that I thought was the neatest about it, and it's what reminded me when I put the shirt on for today's topic, was we had a guy that literally took us around everywhere. He took us down into the locker rooms. He took us onto the field. He went with us everywhere. And he would say, hey, listen, there's security up here, but don't worry about it. You guys are with me. We're going to be fine. We're going to go through here. Now, listen, I'm going to take you in here. Just don't touch anything, you know. And he was walking around, and hey, I'm going to take you guys down onto the field. Just don't cross this line. And he was there with us every step of the way as we were doing this tour of the stadium down there in Tampa Bay and as we were attending this football game. And that got me thinking about leadership. Now, I don't typically like to do trainings or daily doses on leadership, quite honestly, because I think, just in my own personal opinion, leadership training has been so overdone, and so many times it's full of ethereal nonsense, you know, like people like, to be a good leader, you need to know that you're leading people. And an organization can never be better than its leader. And you're listening to this stuff just going, well, can you give me something I can use, you know? I'm going to give you something practical right now that you can use. When it comes to leadership, be a tour guide, not a travel agent. In other words, this shirt reminded me of that guy who was so awesome, taking us all around, showing us everything, taking us down on the field. But he was also reassuring us, hey, listen, it's going to be okay when we go in here, and warning us about the dangers. Don't cross this line. Don't do this. Don't do that. You know, don't get in the way of the cameraman, right? Things like that, okay? Things that we needed to know. And so he was a great tour guide taking us around. As a leader in an organization, whether it's a sales organization, spiritual organization, civic organization, whatever it is, you have to be a tour guide. You can't be a travel agent. You can't say, hey, that's your destination, go get them, right? No. You have to say, that's our destination, let's go get them. Does that make sense? So you gotta be a tour guide. You gotta be in the mix with them. You gotta get dirty with them. You gotta get down in the trenches, right? A leader that tells you, oh, I've already did that. I spent my time in the field. Now I get to manage. That's not a leader. That's somebody with a title. Okay? A good leader is going to get down in the trenches with that new person, with that new employee, with that new person, that addition to your sales force, with that person that's struggling or having a hard time or not coming along. You know, with that new person in your faith that's having a hard time making the connection or fitting into the group. Whatever the case might be, a leader is going to be to get down in there. Look, if you're too big to do the little things, you're too small to achieve anything big. So you've got to be a tour guide. Now that means two things. Number one, it means you've got to get in the trenches and you've got to get in the mix and you've got to be part of what's going on and you've got to take people with you and you need to be the first, you know, we used to say in the military, first boots out of the helicopter on the deck and the last guy into the helicopter when the battle was over, right? You've got to be that guy or gal who is in the mix leading the charge on the deck. The next thing you have to do as a leader is you have to be the one that instills confidence in the group. Right? And I took this from my mentor, a brilliant gentleman. He gave this example today, and I thought that's so awesome, right? Can you imagine if you're on an African safari, right? And you're in one of those little Jeep things or whatever, and all of a sudden you see the pack of lions, right? You know, grazing out in the meadow, and you're kind of like, oh, hey, there's the lions are right there. You know, if your tour guide said to you, hey, listen, it's okay. Those lions, we do this all the time. They don't see us as a threat. We've never had an attack. They're going to lay right there and be perfectly docile, and we can even get a little closer if you want, take pictures. They're not going to bother us at all, right? Can you imagine if your tour guide said that to you? Most people would go, oh, okay, all right, cool, whatever, you know, and then now they're nice and relaxed. But can you imagine if you said, hey, there's a big pack of lions over there, and the tour guide went, lions? What? Oh my God, we're all going to die, right? Jumps out of the Jeep, starts running across the field, right? Can you imagine? What would happen to the group? They would freak out. They would lose their mind, and that happens inside of organizations, right? Sometimes an organization will get a small piece of bad news, and the leader will actually be the one who causes a panic or a frenzy within the organization by flipping out over it. As a leader, you have to be the calm voice of reason in any and all situations. If you want to keep your team or your organization from overreacting to something, then you need to make sure that you are not reacting to everything that comes across your desk or everything that you're faced with. We have to be the everything's going to be okay, calm, cool, soothing voice of reason that keeps everybody feeling optimistic about where the organization is going and how things are going to turn out. Don't be the tour guide that freaks out and says, oh my gosh, we're all going to die, and bails out of the Jeep just because there happened to be a bear or a lion standing a few hundred yards away, right? Don't be that tour guide. So there's two parts to being a great leader when it comes to the in the comparison to being a tour guide. Number one, get in the trenches with your team. Don't be too big to do the little things. And number two, be the calming, soothing voice of reason, the optimistic, ever positive, looking for the bright side of every situation leader that makes everybody feel confident and secure inside of that organization. You do those two things and you will have exhibited positive, effective leadership in your business or in your organization or in your church or in your civic group or even as a Little League football coach if that's what you do. That's the dose, guys. Go make it a great week.